Did you know that you can enjoy the taste of summer strawberries in the middle of winter? Or you could save hundreds of dollars a year by preserving your own food. Welcome back to Trina's Humble Homestead. Today we dive into the topic that's perfect for anybody trying to save money, reduce waste, and enjoy delicious home-cooked meals all year round. That's right, it's the ultimate guide to home food preservation. Let's get started. First off, why would you consider preserving food? Well, there are several benefits. Number one, saving money. Buying in bulk at places like Azure Standards, buying things on sale in bulk, and preserving can cut down on your grocery bills. Number two, reducing waste. We can preserve seasonal produce before it spoils. Number three, enjoying that fresh flavor all year round. We can enjoy the taste of summer right in the middle of winter by preserving those foods at the peak of the season. And the health benefit. We get to control exactly what goes into our food without any preservatives. Now let's talk about different methods of food preservation. Each method has its own unique benefit, but let's go over some of the most common ones. First up, let's go over canning. Perfect for fruits and vegetables and sauces. We'll cover the basics of water bath and pressure canning. Freezing, a quick and easy way to preserve food while maintaining its nutrients. Dehydrating, great for fruits and vegetables. Herbs, we'll show you how to dehydrate in an oven or a dehydrator. Fermenting, I just did a video on fermented foods and how important they are to your gut health. A fun way to create probiotic rich food like pickles and sauerkraut. Freeze drying, now this method I'm a little bit newer at but have been equally enjoying. It removes moisture from the food, allowing it to last for years while retaining flavor and nutrients. We'll also touch on how to do this at home. Now let me break down each method step by step. So for canning, we want to start by sterilizing your jars and lids. I often sterilize my jars in my dishwasher, but you can boil them in a pot as well. Then we want to prepare our fruits and vegetables by washing and cutting them as needed. We then want to fill the jars with our prepared foods, leaving the appropriate headspace. Add any necessary liquid like syrup or brine into the jars, and then we process a water bath or pressure canner according to the recipe. I often use recipes in the Ball Canning book. There are several other canning books or sites, but I personally try to follow them pretty regularly just to make sure that I'm using safe canning practices. So now let's go on to freezing. We want to wash and chop our produce into manageable pieces. And then for pretty much most, if not all of the vegetables, we want to blanch them in boiling water for just a few minutes to preserve the color and the nutrient. And then we want to cool them quick to stop them from cooking into an ice bath of water. Then drain out the water and we can let them dry a little bit and then pack them into airtight containers or freezer bags. Label the date and the content and freeze. Next, for dehydrating, we want to wash and slice our fruit and veggies evenly. Arrange them on a dehydrating tray or baking sheets. We want to set the temperature and time according to the food type. My dehydrator gives options for foods. So if you have a dehydrator, you might find that, or you can search to what the temperature is for that particular food. Usually around 125 to 135. Sometimes if I'm doing herbs for medicinal properties, I keep it between 90 and 100. So you can look up what you're doing it for, and then it would just take longer. And then once they're fully dried, you want to store them in airtight containers. I will put them in jars and then just seal those jars. But you can use Mylar bags or different airtight containers. Fermenting. Prepare your vegetables by washing and cutting them to the desired size. Pack them tightly and evenly into the jar and leave a little bit of space at the top. Add a saltwater brine to cover the vegetables completely. Cover the jar and let it sit at room temperature for a few days. I often put it on a plate because sometimes it'll seep over, liquid will seep over. You want to taste it periodically after a few days till it reaches your desired flavor. Some people like it more fermented or more that sour taste. Like for sauerkraut, I don't like it super sour. I just like the probiotic. So once it gets to the taste I like, I personally put it in the fridge because then I just eat off it for a very long time. And freeze drying. So we want to slice our fruits and vegetables into even size pieces to ensure uniform freeze drying. We want to then place the food on our freeze drying trays, making sure that they're not touching. Then we set the freeze dryer according to the manufacturer's instructions. The process typically takes several hours to complete, but the machine, I have a cube freeze dryer for Prep for Life. The machine generally does all the work for us. Once done, we check to make sure the food is completely dry and brittle. Then we store it in freeze-dried vacuum containers, label them to keep the moisture out. Here are some quick tips to ensure your food preservation efforts are successful. If you've ever opened something and found that you've had some spoilage, you just know how devastating it is. All that work we've gone through growing and trying to preserve, if you've had a bad batch, it's devastating. So here are some steps to help with making sure we have successful food preservation. We always want to start with the freshest produce available for the best flavor and quality. Don't forget to label your jars. Oh my goodness, I know this firsthand. The first year I forgot to label my jars and it was like a guess session. What is this? Is it mushrooms or is it chicken? Seriously, when it's dried, sometimes you really can't tell. Has anybody else had that happen? And label them with, like, I've even labeled them and I've used stickers that fell off. So it's better to just write on the lids. And especially for canning and fermenting, follow those recipes for safe practices. And then keep your preserved foods in a cool, dark place for best long-term storage. It extends their shelf life. And there you have it, the ultimate guide to home food preservation. Now you can enjoy your favorite foods all year round while saving money and reducing waste. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more helpful tips. And let us know in the comments below which preservation method you're excited to try or you already do use. Until next time, happy preserving, be blessed, and don't forget you're loved.